Welcome to my virtual campfire. I'm Crystal Kelly. In Season 2, I am exploring with you as masters of our own experience in an epic and unique time in the history of conscious life. We are all being called to do something unknown. I'm turning to the ancient wisdom when fire was the quantum shift that catapulted humanity. Now, we are the shift. When we connect consciously, we are connected with the new earth. We become the new earth human family. Through vibrations and conversation, let's enter this superhighway of consciousness and co-create within the quantum realm of light. In episode 24, I chat with Jeffro Uitto of Knock on Wood. Jeffro is a longtime friend and true modern master. His art sculptures are made of found driftwood. They're so impressive they've gone viral on Reddit, and he has a permanent installation at the Taiwanese Museum in Taiwan. His horse sculpture ranked number 10 on the top 23 cool sculptures you won't believe actually exist. His work literally blows your mind. Not many artists get to see the fruits of their labor during their lifetime. Yet Jeffro magically finds himself in the right place at the right time, more times than one can imagine. Jeffro chats with me from his front yard in Tokeland as he ponders what to tackle next. Hey!
Dude, there you are. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Dude, look I'm getting balder, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's happening.
We're all getting old.
Dude, it's weird. Isn't that fucked up?
Super crazy. Like, why didn't they tell us? Like, why didn't people say that getting old is weird?
I don't know. They're just too used to getting old, man, to remember to tell you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Cause, like, did anyone ever tell you that?
No, I grew up around old turkeys all the time, you know?
Yeah. I know I grew up around my grandparents, and I feel like I kind of had a feeling that it was hard.
I think that's the trick, though, to keeping your youth is just having really old friends.
Yeah.
The older friends, right? Yeah. You're always the young one in the group, you know?
The key to having a long life is to have a reason.
Yeah, I'm a big driver, man. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good goal, drive, missions.
Total. Yeah, missions, lots of missions.
Oh my God.
You and I are that way.
Always got a mission. It just keeps me waking up, you know?
Yep.
Holy shit. Yeah. And now I been learning a lot more and more that I'm so cyclic, you know, and like everything, like we're on this cycles of seasons and everything else. And then in your mind, you're on your own cycles along with the lunar cycles. So once I started really learning that, you know, how cyclic everything was, it helped me kind of just navigate through. And, you know, on the difficult parts of the cycles, you're like, all right, just hang on. This is a cycle, you know, it's not like this forever. So
yeah, because then it's like I can get through this. I've done it before. I remembered this from like the last phase that you know, encountered, but then somehow those cycles are like cyclical, right?
Yeah, totally.
I think that life is like a spiral. So I think I think things shift sort of like as the cycles come and go, there's other factors that shift in and out. So it always keeps it different. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I guess it has to be, because if you went through it once and it's going to be the same forever, there's no point in doing it a bunch more times.
Exactly. You're just living like Groundhog's Day over and over. Are you in your front yard?
Yeah. Yeah. I got the whale in the background here. Let me see.
You know, is that the same whale that you've been doing for a long time?
Yeah. I started him a long time ago, and then finally finished him up for that Eddie Vedder show a couple years ago. And so it's been kind of becoming like an iconic piece of the festival. So they keep having me back and displaying. And then I've been networking some really cool artist friends of mine, and we've been setting up some super rad sculptures out there.
Yeah. And is that in Hawaii at the Ohana Fest?
No, it's Dana Point, California.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Super rad. And it was like, it's the most epic freaking show, man. There's just so much magic and special people involved in that. And then like, just right away, you know, I was just like part of the family, and everybody was so awesome. And you're out surfing these beautiful waves, listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers do their sound check. And it's just fucking crazy. You're like, am I really here right now?
That's amazing. Like, I remember when initially you were building that whale. So this is a story that goes way back that I remember. And it actually was a pivotal moment in my life, your reaction to what happened, because you taught me something. And I don't even think you know this, but like, you were building the whale. And every time I talked to you, you were all about the whale. Like, you'd say you're walking along the beach and you're finding whale bones. And I was like mesmerized by this whale idea. I was like, you know, what's the biggest thing on our planet? A freaking whale, you know? So like, it's just big, you know, like Jeffro thinks big. And so I'm like, so awesome. And you were making it for something in like Seaside, Oregon, or
Cannon Beach.
Yes. We went, and you were like saying how you couldn't visualize it there because you didn't know where the location was or something.
Yeah.
And so like you had to drive down there to go look. And for some reason, I don't know why, I went with you. And like, maybe I had to go down there for something. I have no idea why. But
field trip, yeah.
When we got there, they told us where it was, and it was like this little patch of like 4 by 4 foot, like, little tiny area. And I remember thinking in my head, like, oh my God, he's gonna be pissed. Like, his whale won't fit here. Like, he's been working this hard on this whale. And you just looked at it and like, you kind of like paused. And then I was thinking, I wonder, and I just didn't know what you were going to say. And you go, well, I guess I need to find a new home for it.
Yeah, totally.
I remember, I was like, that is the wisest thing that I've ever heard. Like, clearly you like have been working towards this, and all this like momentum and all this energy, and like, it just like crushing, like it won't work. Like, it will not work there. And it didn't matter. Like, you just kept on going, and it was a beautiful reaction to like a pretty catastrophic problem.
Yeah, I remember. I fucking forgot all about that. Oh my God, yeah. Oh man, you know, that's what we are as artists, man. We're adapters, you know. As humans, we adapt every day, especially as, you know, creative types. You know, it's like we're fucking zigzagging, man. I mean, whoa, I better go this way then. Yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna be going, you know. It's just I know.
And I think that's why a lot of times people think artists are crazy, you know, because it doesn't always make sense. But we know the feeling, and we know the momentum, and like, you gotta adapt.
Yeah, adapting. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, it's like, actually, just with this whale again is I was all scheduled to go down to this show just a couple weeks ago with Ohana, right? And so I'm like so excited. It was like last minute. All these people were contacting me like, you're available to come, right? You know, we got this whole thing set up for you and ready to go, and then logistics of getting everything down. And then so I'm like rapidly running around trying to find a big truck to rent, because I have another piece I was going to pull down. And then I had all these little micro missions along the way that I had, you know, networking, and like I had art I'm dropping off and just touching in with some special people.
Yeah.
And like, that's why I have, okay, I'm telling the story. There's 2 scaffolding boards right here on the whale, right? So I'm getting ready to get this thing dialed in, right? And I'm like, because I got to have it transporting. It's going to be on the road for 1,000 miles. I mean, this thing can't be moving, you know, on the trailer. Yeah. So all the truck link ups, fucking nothing worked out. Finally, I found a truck. and I'm like fucking fired up. I had one nice day where I was going to go get everything done, ready to transport. And then, so I'm talking to Rich from Live Nation. He's like one of the big cheeses at Live Nation. So they're going to pay me to come down. So I'm getting all the funds in order and everything, right? And then we get a phone call from school. Timber was exposed to COVID, right?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, right. I was mid scaffolding building this thing, and she's fine, never got sick or anything, but we had to quarantine for 2 weeks or whatever. And it just, you know, and I had all these other people like lined up going with me to set up art. And we've all been working on this. And it was another one of them, well, I guess it'll have to find another place to live moments.
Yeah.
I keep trying to think of the positive thing of like, you know, how things meant to be, you know, just lining up and everything. So it bummed me out huge. But at the same time, I'm like, well, use this time to do things special, you know, with your family and special projects that you wanted to get onto. And then just everything like that. It was cool. It's okay. So I'm still, you know, part of the family down there. I missed my chance to ever do this again. So it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, it'll be there for next year, you know, the next time, because I totally understand. I was supposed to go to Peru just I would have gotten back like a week ago. Oh, and geez. You know, for like logistical reasons, it just didn't work out. And I was kind of crushed at first, but then I realized, I was like, oh, Sophia's going to college like this time frame, and I got to like drop her off at school, and I got to, you know, do some really special things that like just 100%. You know, they don't come around again. Like I can go to Peru the next time, you know, I can
probably gonna be there.
Yeah, exactly. And it just, you know, it just wasn't right. And you know, like you said, everything's meant to be. That's just,
oh yeah. Went back and track onto the logistics of getting this whale down there. So I think I was maybe, I don't know, a teenager when a friend's girlfriend she was like, I don't know, channeling something. She was trying to be psychic one day, right? And then she's like telling me, she's like, yeah, you're gonna die in a car wreck in a white truck. And she tried to say when I was 30, right? So I heard that shit, and I would fucking lit a fire under my ass. I'm like, 30? Shit, that's only like 10 summers left, man. I gotta get going on life, you know, and just started creating, building, never bought a white truck in my life, hardly even ride in them, right? And that's the only fucking truck I could find was a white truck to rent for this whole thing in the show, right? And so and then it kind of folded. I'm like, well, you know,
yeah,
maybe it's meant to be. I don't know.
You know, how old are you now?
39.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was meant to be. You're supposed to stay home.
I think so. Yeah. And, you know, even like me and Z, we kind of worked through a few things that just needed to be out in the open, and just real realizations and different stuff. So it was like, okay, you know, I get it, you know.
You know, I think you should listen to your signs. Like those things, you know, we're shown signs every single day, and and like we can kind of go with it and go past them and ignore them. But I think when you pay attention to things like that, I think that, you know, there's new opportunities that we never would have imagined.
Oh my God, it gets so special in things you couldn't even explain, like just the happenstance. I don't even know if that's a real thing or not. I mean, just whatever's meant to be. And it's like, man, I'm really cyclic on signs too. Like I'll be really receptive and open to them for quite a period of time. And then I'm just like fired up, you know, and oh yeah, I believe, you know, like, and then, you know, how you know, on the other half of your cycle, you're coming back around, and then you get a nice sign that hits you in the head or something. You're like, oh, geez, wake you up. Oh, I remember. Yeah. It's all about mindset and love. I remember.
Yep. So, yeah. I miss chatting with you, Jeffro.
I know it, man. It's been a minute. How awesome.
it's been a long time, and like I
know now your kids are going to college, for crying out loud. That's crazy.
They were like, I think they were like toddlers when I met you.
Yeah, they were just little people.
Yeah.
I know we had that boy. He's a year and a couple months now.
Mm-hmm.
Holy smokes, man. I'm like, this kid is fired up. I mean, he just is relentless. Holy smokes. I'm like, man, I'm really getting old here.
Yeah, that's how I feel with Penny a little bit, because you know the other kids, I was a young mom, and now I feel like I'm an old mom.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's just crazy. I know we're kind of just going through all that, and it's actually it's good in the ways of in my mind. More than my physical body, because in my mind now, I realize that it's important to take these moments and really cherish these moments, because they're so fast. They're just zipping by, and you know, and not to be too busy and what's in front of you, because you know, none of that stuff matters. Most of this is just fluff, you know. We're just filling our lives with detail, and the real things that we you know, need to really focus on often get pushed to the side for, you know, moments of whatever. But so in that aspect, I'm kind of slowing down a bit more to take more time and just, you know, go for walks, go to the beach with the kids, and just real shit, you know. And often I find that site charges me up way more, because, you know, sometimes I'll think like psychically on creating. I'll usually have 2 or 3 magical hours in the day where I'm really just cranking through, and then something in me makes me feel like I'm compelled to like stand around and walk in circles the rest of the fucking day around this thing, no? And I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that, man. You don't have to put everybody off. Just, you know, go do your regular shit. You're going to get the same amount or more done if you just go charge up, don't put anybody off, come back. Now you're fucking ready. You got your time, you got, you know, you're like fired up, everything's clicking. It's just learning more about the cycle thing. Like
it is. And like, because I find that I get those creative bursts for sure. I mean, during like 2020, I wrote 4 books and like and like published them. Like, why? I had been planning these things in my head for so many years, and I just was like, finally, like, why do I always put my own projects off? You know, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do something that I've been thinking about and doing something for me, and like now I've just been realizing that it isn't like, I always thought it was selfish, but it actually like isn't. Like
no, you need that.
It helps me process life, but then it also is helping other people that are going through like similar things, or like have, you know, it's so like when we talk about our struggles, or like figure, you know, we help each other out with things, it's so much more, I don't know, it's just such a better way to live.
It is, you know, because it would be selfish for you to die with your song and your story still in you. You know what I mean? That's when it is. And like, often even with like Zila, you know, she's really a selfless person. She always puts, you know, the kids and everybody before her and everything. And I'm telling her, I'm like, you know, what's really important is for you to show the kids that you have worth and you're valuable and things that matter to you. That shows them that that's okay for them to do that too, you know. And it's just all the big balance of everything. And it's a necessity though. I mean, you can't just give. You're just going to be an empty shell, you know. And you got to recharge that, and you know, you know, absorb things to fill you back up again, you know. So you got energy and power.
And also, like when we're full, we can help more. That's why, like, I always love our friendship so much, is that like you always inspire me to think in a different way. And after like I finally heard them on the radio, I was like, oh, Jeffro told me about those people like years ago. I've been listening to them now for like how many people have I told about them? You know what I mean? So like,
I love it.
Like when you hear like good music or you see good art, like you pass it along, you know?
Oh yeah,
and
you
like,
gotta share it. You gotta share it. Yeah.
exactly. And
Well,
like you're always like
killer,
always at the like front edge of, I don't know how you even find these things. Like
I know it. I'm a finder. I don't even mean to. I'm just like magnetic, you know, drawn to things.
You're a connector.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's too, it's like, I just, in moments of like, just you're feeling of so good that you want to share that. I'm like, I want you to feel how good I feel, like, and listen to this. It makes me feel so good to hear this or to visually see this or whatever. So it's so cool when you could kind of vicariously experience for the first time again through your friends or other people. So it's just kind of, you know.
No, it's super cool because like I'm a connector too, and two connectors don't always meet. I have a few other friends that are connectors, and when we come together, it's always like, you know, like a cool project or a, you know, just things. And so it's really fun to like to be able to like see those sparks. And then I don't know. I remember like one time you said I think you said you wanted to have a piece in a museum. I think you said that to me.
Oh yeah.
And then like one day I see on Facebook that like you totally got a rhinoceros in a museum.
Yes.
Like how did that happen? I like wondered that.
Oh my God, that was so awesome. It was kind of another one of them projects where I've been thinking about for years and years and just saving this beautiful material with these textures and the colors. And then just like, you know, the law of attraction, it's no surprise to you. I mean, you bring these things into your life because you're projecting that, you know, magnetic energy, you know, like this, you're thinking about, like, this has already happened. Now I just got to figure out how it's going to happen, you know.
Exactly.
Like, it's already here. It's already mine. I just like got to figure out how that all works, you know, the details in the middle, right?
Totally.
And man, these guys contacted me and I was so excited. They didn't even know what I was going to show yet, but they had this exhibition called Dance, and it was with these artists from around the world that would create with recycled materials and stuff and create animals, you know, and then have the stories with them. And I've been wanting to do this freaking rhino, and I just have seen it in my head for so many years. And I thought, you know, I got the project for you guys. How many months do I got? Like, what's the time frame here? And they didn't even know what I was even going to do yet. They just wanted me on board with this whole thing. And I just went like ape shit crazy and head first in this idea, and just like, it just took over my world, you know. And I'm like, finally I get it done. I get great photographs and they're just so pumped. We have this whole thing. They flew it over to Taiwan, right? They had this whole art crew come by that deals with like Dale Chihuli's art, you know, all the time. So they're really killer at packing all these fragile art pieces and everything. But so they got over there, went through the exhibition. They shipped us over for a couple weeks, and it was just like freaking magic, man. They just like VIP into the back of the museum, showing us all the special private collections of the owner and like all this. And it was just like, holy shit, I'm actually here, you know? And then they're like, oh, you've got all this itinerary thing set up, you know, we're going to tour you here and there. And then we got interviews with all these news crews. And so I had like 7 or 8 different news stations, like China Times and CNN something or other, all this crazy shit, right? I can't even fucking understand what they're trying to tell me. And so I'm just like, and they're all coming at me at one time. And I'm just like, whoa, hang on. I had a translator. I'm like, all right, let's work with these guys. What do you want to know here? And like, so I went through and it was just so much fun. It was just like, you know, in those instances, you almost like jump into a persona of a person or something. And you're just automatic, you know, just doing your spiel, you know, and everything. And I met with all the really people that ran the museum, just super, super cool people. And so here's where it's magic too, right? So I get back home and like they were just leasing the piece for several months or whatever, right? And they called me up and they were like, you know, we love meeting with you. This has been such a special thing. We want to buy this rhino for a permanent piece in the museum. And I'm just thinking, yes, that's where it belongs. It looked amazing there. And so through email and messages, I'm like sitting on maybe $90 in my bank account, right? And so we started pitching it. I started pitching it at 150,000, right? And so I'm like, yeah, this is what I feel like I want to start here. And so went back and forth, and they hit me like under 100, and I'm like, oh, I don't know that. I don't think that'll work, guys. I'm sorry. And then like, meanwhile, I seriously have $90, man. I'm just like, oh, I'm shitting inside, but I'm just like, yeah, playing it cool. Yeah. Hope they don't see this. Anyways, yeah. I'm like finally settle on 110. And I'm like, yeah, I think that'll work, guys. I really love the place it's at, and this will be just really special around. And then like, I'm just like freaking exploding inside. I'm like, this is so awesome. I got Rhino energy going around. Like, it funded some property and, vehicles, all kinds of cool stuff for just my tools for, going forward. And
yeah,
pretty special.
It's super. I mean, it enabled you to like go do the next big project, because that's the hard part for an artist, is that like a lot of creative projects are made out of passion, not to make money. So like, yeah, 100%. It's not like I feel like any artist who's legitimately like really an artist is making it because they love it, and a little bit, even when I've had some successes, and even when something is a passion and it starts making money, I sort of lose interest in it sometimes.
It does take on something else. It becomes something else, But yeah. You know what's cool? I met this woman, like I was down doing this show. It was called The Summit, and it was in LA, and it was like this. It was amazing. It was like all these experiences, and it was like a gathering of the most innovative people in the world. Mm-hmm. They'd come and do this whole thing, but we were in the middle of watching Wim Hof. You know who Wim Hof is?
Yeah, totally.
And he was doing this awesome like ceremony thing. Everybody's just like in ice, holding their breath. I mean, like I hold my breath for like 2 minutes when I was hanging out with him. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God.
It was fucking nuts, right? And I was just like, whoa, I started seeing the colors I was seeing inside turn from red to blue when I finally relaxed and let go, and it was amazing, right? Mm-hmm. Anyways, we got to see him and meet him and hang out a little bit. But this lady was kind of a financial advisor. And what was cool about her was I'm like, oh yeah, money's always like trouble and just makes everything kind of muddy, and she's like, no, money's an energy. It could be good or bad. So you treat it like that, and what you're doing, what you're putting out, your energy, it's just an energy exchange pretty much. And how do you want to use that energy, And so then it changed my mind a lot more about how I thought about it. And it just made it more of a positive thing, like this time energy exchange for more energy, So it's like, yep. It just kind of made it make more sense in my world, Yeah. And I thought that was pretty cool.
No, that's super cool. That's exactly how I've always thought of money as well. Is that it's energy, and also
it's pretty crazy. I'm really not money driven most of the time for creating in that whole process, because it does change things. Like I actually been really picky on commissions, even though I get really down to, needing some more energy. It was spend your time with people that are worth it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because like, this time is like, it's such a small little grain of sand, it's just poof. But it's like, spending time. I really started thinking about spending time. I'm like, oh yeah. You're like spending time, sharing time, spending time. And then I thought, well, man, you really got to share that and spend it on people that are worth that, so super simple, but
yeah,
the basics.
Most things in life seem to come down to simple things, like,
yeah.
If you, like you were talking about the seasons, nature keeps it pretty simple when it comes down to it,
Yeah, we're in the transition of season. Like spring and fall are kind of the transition into, you know, summer and winter, right? And it's kind of, I love this time because it's like, it gives you that, way to process it, you know. It's like, oh, okay, oh, we're still getting some nice days, but we've been getting some rain, it's getting colder, and I could get used to this. Okay, get in the jam. Isn't it funny how you can forget a whole month of rain with one sunny day? It just disappears. You're like, oh my God, ding, you know. It's incredible.
That's so true. So about the seasons, what if, and I feel like this is happening, but like I haven't talked to you for a long time. And I know that like we've talked about kind of like bigger, higher consciousness things before, but like I feel like humanity itself, like humans are going through a season of their own, like a
100%,
like some sort of like awakening or
oh yeah, it's a cycle, you know. It's a cycle, like with humans, their planet, you know. It's all a cycle. I just miss bullshitting with you, man. I'm just like fucking fired up. I'm rewinding. I got a couple of big things I've been kind of working on for a while now, a couple of years, and now it's like down to the last. What does this fucking mean? How does this cross over? How does this work? Mm-hmm. So one is, I've been starting a nonprofit called ASAP, Art Supporting Animals and Planet, right? And then so I've been working with a couple of organizations. One's called VetPaw, and these guys are aiding rangers against poaching rhinoceros and elephants over in Africa. Fucking amazing what these guys are doing. VetPaw, Ryan, Tay's, just awesome, right? And so I did my first project. He called me up the other day, and we were kind of getting dialed in on a plan. I'm like, man, I really want to help you. I'm still trying to launch my nonprofit. I got a 501c3. Everything's been like above board going on. I just haven't launched it yet, right? And so he calls me up, and I just taken the microdose of mushrooms, right? And they were just kicking in right when he calls, and I'm like, oh shit, he's kind of important anyways, you know, to me. I love the guy, and I'm like, oh yeah, fired up and on idea, you know. And so he's like, well, I have this online a gala that I have to present, or doesn't have to, but I was presenting an award to their biggest donor, and his name's Jason Flom, just a great person. He's involved in so many amazing things, right? With wrongfully convicted people down to preserving, you know, species of animals, and also really big in the music industry world. And so I'm like, oh, this is awesome. It's the Rhino Spirit Award, right? And so I'm like, how much time do I got? And he's like, oh, maybe like a week or so. I'm like, holy shit, dude. I fucking hung up. I just like went off into this whole thing, man. It was so awesome. But then again, I got back into that, like, okay, I got 3 magic hours of the evening. Don't put off your family still. And I got this thing done. It was just awesome, like award piece. It was this rhino head I did. And then I got it to him, and super, super stoked. Anyways, that's kind of my first like little mini project with doing this. I didn't even go through ASAP. I'm just trying to get, you know, just established and linking up with these people. And it felt so amazing that I was actually creating something that's going to benefit these animals, you know, and it was like, I don't know, it's just beyond me. It was really special. I had a lot of really special energy kind of channeling through me in that whole process. And I remember years ago, even just starting to really get into this whole creative world, I was like, you know, I don't know, I guess you can call it a prayer or whatever, but I was just really grateful for everything going on. I said, well, if you could help me get this going and the network I need to make my whole program work, my whole world work, I'll promise to put forth and give back, you know, however, you know. And so that's why I kind of started the ASAP. And now I'm like, how does it work with art? Like, how does it work? Is it like, Is it just a part of the proceeds from art sales go into organizations? I mean, like, how does this all correlate, and the energy? Like, part of me, like, I'm such a networker. I'm always meeting great people. And like I said, the money is an energy thing. It's like, now what I wanted to do is be able to channel and focus energy in directions that I truly believe in,
Mm-hmm.
people I really believe in, causes, and this and that. So now I'm stumped though. I'm like, 'cause I want this to be really genuine. I'm not just doing it for a little shoulder brush. Look what I'm doing. 'Cause who fucking cares, man? I mean, it's bigger than that, And so now I'm kind of on a hold. Maybe I'm just waiting on a couple more people in my network, to really get this thing.
I think when the timing's right, you'll just know it. It'll I mean, just from my own thought as you're talking about this, the things that are going through my head is, I feel like music has a lot to do with what you're doing. I think that sound and music heal, and a lot of the animals on our planet are, are sick and dying, and I think that something's going to happen.
I know. I think that too. It's like the timing of everything's really crazy. But also I believe that it's really cyclic too, like species of animals and just human species in general, and then the Earth's always on its own cycle. So I really think that, like, I mean, it is, we are speeding it up. We are speeding up the cycle, but it's like, it's inevitable that, that we are going to have global warming and everything else, and it's like, what I really think is, like, people are going to really have to kind of band together, and if we're going to survive and actually thrive and, function, that, we're going to have to let go of like greed and ego and build each other up, because if you're doing really good, I mean, that's only good for me too. I mean, it's not selfishly good for me, but I mean, it's just, the more the people around you are, their well-being is good. It's like, that's going to in turn make your, lift you up too. So I think that's really important right now, is for everybody to kind of, just let go of the fluff, and really get down to what's important. Whatever tangent.
No, but that's what's super important, is that, like, we're so much of a lot of people's daily lives are centered around the things you said that we need to give up, like greed and ego and those sort of things. And the moment that you realize that there's just, nature is abundant. Like, I feel like the stasis of where we should be at within living on our planet, it should be abundant. It just, abundance doesn't mean that you take more than what you need.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I know it. And it's easy to get caught up into that too, like, wow, oh, that was useful for me, man, I better have a whole pile of it just in case I run out, just like, so there's that sweet balance of, just sharing, and like you say, really being aware of what you actually need to function. And like, this, like, that plant has amazing amount of blueberries, but what are you gonna pick the whole damn plant? So or are you gonna have everybody having their own cycles and everything, have a little too, so. But I don't know, it's really tricky, because more and more everybody's, I'm not trying to lump everybody into a certain way of everything, but like, just with like social media, and everybody's like, in their own persona of what they want to see themselves, or what they want to project and have everybody else think of them and see of them. And what really, none of that fucking shit matters. None of that shit fucking matters. Who gives a fuck, man?
Right.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's so crazy.
Like, I get into these situations where, where I get like so nervous or this and that. And I always click this button to where it's like, dude, chill the fuck out, be yourself, and it's going to be fine. You don't even have to preconceive any fucking idea of what you're going to talk about. It doesn't fucking matter. I mean, just be genuine, be yourself, be your fucking self, you know? And so that's really important. And now it's just become this like fog layer of everybody's life, you know, where they're like, oh, look at me. Hey, I'm doing so good. I got all this shit. Like, who gives a fuck about all your shit? You know,
it's really true. Like the things that matter are
relationships.
Are the people that we surround ourselves with. That's what really matters. Like I realized as like we were, you know, all home together for 24 hours a day for like, I feel like it was like 3 or 4 months, but it might have been longer. I don't even, time just sort of melted away during quarantine. It was like, and I remember thinking like, you know, because it's like me and Jason and the 3 girls. And at the beginning of it, we had an exchange student too. So we had 3 teenagers and Penny in the house. And you know, but
24/7 in the house,
just intense, you know, and trying to like guide them through this because they're young, they don't know what's going on, and like I don't know what's going on either, but I know
first time in your life
like I know like I just need to be there as emotional support and you know and just help them through whatever it is they're going through. And they went through a lot, but I remember at one point thinking, you know, I wouldn't rather, like I am in exactly where I'd want to be right now. Like I can't imagine being anywhere else. Like I have everyone that I love the most close to me. I'm not looking for anything. I'm not like, I'm just here.
Content.
You know,
that's pretty special to feel like that. You know, that's kind of probably rare, I imagine, in a lot of people's lives too. Like, you know, like especially for people like us, because we're always driving and moving forward. It's not that we're uneasy, it's just we have to be moving, you know, toward a mission. But you know, to actually have a time like that when you're not missing out on anything in the world, this is exactly what you need to be doing. You need to be, you know, right here taking care of your family and your own mental health and everything. And so awesome that you took it that way instead of, you know, tragically or whatever. So
but it was special. Like I learned a lot about myself and my priorities, and I've, you know, I've like kind of categorized my priorities and things like doing this podcast and like talking, you know, reconnecting with people that I feel like have really shaped my vision when I think of like how I want to like move forward, you know, like the people who are really kind and compassionate and they think about things in a holistic sort of way, in a way that is good for everyone, you know, like it has to be like win-win-win. It can't be just a win for one person and a lose for someone else. Like there's ways to have solutions that just can work for everybody, and that's when magic happens. And
that's magic. I love the magic.
I think of magic and I think of you, you know, like
you're awesome.
Like it's true. Like I mean, I swear that that rock you gave me one time, you've given me a few rocks over the years.
Was it Hagstone or the
Hagstone thing?
Yeah.
You've given me 2 of my favorite rocks. I know they're, but like one's the Hagstone and one was it's like a black stone. It's on my desk somewhere. Here. It's like a black stone that like fits in your pocket.
Oh, feels good, huh?
Yeah, and you just like can hold it, and it and it's like a thinking stone. So like sometimes like because I just put it in my pocket and I'll like walk around and I forget it's there, and then I'll put my hand in my pocket. I'm like, it's like it grounds me or something. Like
that's awesome. Yeah.
Like I don't even know, but like you gave me that, and then that Hagstone, and I didn't even know what that Hagstone was for years and years, like 10 years.
I never knew it until you told me what it was. You sent me a whole thing on them, you know, and I was like, whoa, holy shit.
One day my cousin like makes some post on social media, because there are great things about social media, you know, and she's explaining what hagstones are and how like witches have them and all these things. And I'm like, that's that stone that Jeffro gave me. And then I told my cousin that I had one, and she goes, Crystal, you know, only witches have those, right? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Someone gave it to me. And she goes,
take it.
No, she goes, well, of all people I know, you would be one of the people that would have it.
Yeah. I had no idea. Like, you know, it was meant to be for you to have that, you know, like, it's funny like that. Like,
but those things are signs.
Oh, you know, totally.
Those are signs because like, why did you give me that rock? I don't know. Like, it just happened to be like the timing or something of when I saw you. I have no idea why.
Yeah. So awesome.
Yeah. But like you did. And then all these other things have happened since then. It's like, was that because of the rock, or was that because I was supposed to have the rock? Like, sometimes you don't know. Like, you're like, how does the universe work? I'm not really sure. Like, is this a reaction of something, or is this just how it's supposed to be? You know, like,
oh man, I feel like really open to, like, sometimes I call myself like an object placer, right? You just know when somebody needs to have a certain whatever. Mm-hmm. And it, you know, it just, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what it costs or anything. It's like, oh, this was supposed to be yours. I just feel like that, you know. And if I don't, you know, do that, I'll feel a little weird about it afterward. Like, man, I should have gave that, you know, to him or whatever, you know. But another rock story like that, I was doing this like a sculpture deal in Russia, where they invited all these people to come and stay for a couple weeks and create these sculptures there. And it was a wild, crazy journey for 2 weeks. Holy shit. I mean, seriously, it was awesome, but holy smokes.
No, I've been to Russia. I know the feeling.
But there was this, like, really, like, I don't know, he's really a special person, this old man. I couldn't even really understand what he was saying, but he was really, really old. But he just like walks up to me and just says, you're supposed to have this. And he gave me this stone, and I still have it, of course, you know. But I was just like, wow, man, that was really special. Like, something, energy into this, something. Like, he didn't have a pocket full of them, giving them to everybody. He just like singled me out of everybody and was like, you're supposed to have this. And I thought, I was just like, whoa, cool, man. Pretty special, you know.
You know, not just like a week ago, I was at an open house, and this little girl came in, and she was really fascinating little girl. She kept like running around in a circle, and then she went outside and she grabbed these rocks and had brought them back inside and had put them in a circle, and like, and then was like running around, and she was like 3 years old, I think, and really playing this game with these rocks. And when her mom was leaving, she wanted to take all the rocks with her, and it was like a whole bunch of rocks. And I was like, oh, I go, well, I don't, and her mom like did not want her to take all the rocks. She's like, you know, but the little girl's like crying, like, I want to take the rocks.
I need these rocks.
Yeah, and she really wanted them. And so I had this rock in my bag, and it was in the shape of a heart.
Oh,
it was cool. A little heart. And this shaman on Mount Shasta had given it to me.
Oh, wow.
And I had kept it there because I thought it was special, and, you know, I wanted to keep it. But then I looked at that little girl, and I looked at that heart, and I was like, I go, hey, and this is what's weird. Her name was Ohana.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That's really weird.
That's
but
awesome.
Anyway, I said, Ohana, I have a special rock. And if you take this special rock and leave these rocks here, then it'll, you know, like, you can have this special rock. And she saw it, and she's like, looks like a heart. And I gave it to her.
Yeah.
And she took it, and I told her like how I had gotten it. And like, her mom was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, because for whatever, I don't know why that little girl needed that rock. I just felt like she should have it.
Yeah.
And
that's the magic.
It was. And it's like, I don't know why I gave that little girl that rock, but now she has it, and she'll cherish it because
that's so awesome.
You know, it was like a moment where she was like freaking out and crying and like so sad, and then look, she's got a rock that looks like a heart, you know.
Like, yeah, I'm winning, baby.
Yeah, like that's way better than all this hunk of rocks.
Yeah. How cool. I know, I love that. That's just what's special about things. Maybe that's even like more people need to be open to that, you know, as humans, and your connections with humans is like, you know, remembering that kind of magic, you know. It's like, I mean, most people would say, oh, it's just a rock, but I mean, the story and everything and the people and the energy that's in it, and it's like so much more now. It's really special. Now it's like living on a whole nother chapter right now, you know.
Yeah,
maybe
totally.
Someday in her life she'll find somebody super special that it goes to, you know, or so. But that's cool. That's good medicine.
Yeah, it's good medicine. That's a really good way to put it, because medicine isn't always like medicine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know. Yeah.
Like laughter and music and
totally,
you know, totally. So many other things in life are medicine, and like
vibrations, everything.
Vibrations.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Man, I had a couple of trippy times where I felt like I was almost levitating, you know, and it was out of just major exhaustion. I got done traveling and doing all this crazy shit, and then like, you know, it was so weird because it was like euphoric, and it was so like, and I wasn't on anything. It was like, and I actually felt my body lift off the bed, and what drug me back to this realm or planet or whatever you want to call it was fear. It was so weird. It was like, it scared me. I felt so good, and the fear brought me back in, like, oh God, I'm not supposed to feel that good, you know, like, oh, that's not, you know. And then I did it one more time where it was another thing too. I was just so like, just ran down exhausted, but it was like the same thing, but I was slowly sinking in water. And right before I went all the way under, it just felt so good. And it was like something was drawing me in. I just needed to be there. And it just went, fear sucked me back into my body. It was just fucking crazy, you know. And I thought, oh, well, I guess I'm still maybe supposed to be here for a while. It's just so wild. I don't know if like fear is something else. Maybe, I don't know. I don't even know why I told you that.
Well, I think because I mean, we're talking about like our higher consciousness and like our purpose and why we're here, you know, and fear is it
human?
it's human, you know? And it ties us to our bodies.
Yeah, that's what, for sure.
So like we're supposed to feel fear, and I think it's survival a little bit. Yeah. But I think what causes anxiety and stress and a lot of side effects of fear is when we focus on fear.
Yeah.
So I think it can be like a tool.
I think, I was going to say it's a useful tool if you treat it like that, I imagine, or use it like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I think maybe without it, like maybe there's no reason to be here anymore. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like and even like things, you know, this even goes back to things like ego. Like we need to have an ego because we need to feel as if we're individuals. We can't just all be
without being ego. Like ego, Wayne Dyer says it means edge God out. You know what I mean? And then you know, and it's really a natural thing for, you know, but it's something too where you could really learn the art of communicating with people that really big ego people. And it's almost like you have to feed into their ego a little to break it down a little bit, you know, and break down their barrier to where these people that are normally like Billy Badass or whatever, you know, and now they're actually on your level sharing things that are real, you know, and it's not like they can, take that force field off and like, wow, this guy doesn't really care about that, it's like you can get down to the genuine of that person or whatever, but it's ego is it's a weird thing, man.
It is. There's this story that I read, and I think this was in Siddhartha, that I don't know if you've ever read Siddhartha, but this Brahmin, like a young man, had ventured to meet the Buddha, and he wanted to talk to him and he wanted to learn from him, but the Buddha would sit and meditate for like all day long, like, and so like there wasn't much like getting to know him. And I read this story a long time ago, so this could be like part of my memory of it too. But he went and just sat with the Buddha, like didn't say anything, and every day he just like sit closer and closer, and then as he was sitting there he would meditate and he would take in all the things that the Buddha was taking in, and he realized that like the Buddha was teaching him by just his presence, like just him being there.
That's awesome.
And then finally after like a lot of days they started talking and they started having a conversation and stuff, but I think that sometimes we all have a different energy and a different presence, and we're all here for a slightly different purpose. So if we're all a part of the whole, we're just each a little puzzle piece that fits in, and wherever we fit in.
Oh man, well, before, a lot of the times when you're really searching for a meaning or something, like you often gotta almost forget about that to learn it, you know what I mean? Like like you're almost like maybe you're looking for the wrong reasons, and then you learn why you should even be seeking this information or these way of being or whatever, and I love that feeling that it's like, that you're on the verge of discovery, but you just have to go farther, and you're already so tired, and like you just know you got to go a little farther to get to the damn mountaintop or whatever, just a little farther. And
do you feel like you're there right now? Like you're at that, like you're
no
almost
way, dude.
You're getting towards the peak, but
no, never gonna peak. Never peak.
I mean, like when you're trying to summit something, like you're trying to like accomplish something, and you're like, I don't know, but then maybe you realize that like it's not even the mountaintop that you were trying to get to. You needed to get to like the cave inside the mountain, and then find the I don't know,
stone in the cave or something.
Like what is that? Like, what is that? I don't know why, but there's something about actually stones, crystals, and their guidance or something.
Yeah.
I think there's like knowledge or something in them, or
like we said earlier, maybe it's something about grounding, like it's like something you need for balance, that could have to do why we're drawn to that,
because otherwise you end up floating, like you were talking about.
It feels amazing, but I mean it's scary.
But it's scary.
It's pretty cool. I like being here right now. I kind of feel like often I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what I'm doing. I look around and like, how in the fuck did I get here? What the hell's going on? Who built this shit? It's like fucking weird, man. It's pretty cool, I don't know. I
remember the first time I went by your house, and I was like, you said like turn down this road or whatever, and I don't think you even gave me the house number. You just said you'll know what house is mine, and I like pull up and I'm like, okay, there's mounds of like wood, just like piles and piles and like, and then it kind of looked like it had also gone into like your neighbors' yards too, you know? And
sure, yeah.
I'm like,
they're not here to claim your property, you know, yeah.
Like,
I ended up buying that lot next door when I sold the Rhino though, and fixed it up, and it's become just like a magic studio. The building had really good energy. You could tell like there was special moments there with families and stuff. And I remember like when I was first just starting to get like I put a new roof on and started rebuilding some walls, and I was like, it was really late. It was dark. I didn't even have power in there yet, but I was just like, I almost felt like uneasy. And then I asked if it was okay for me to be there, you know, and I said, you know, I'm really grateful for this. Is just a real special thing for me and my family. And like, is it okay for me to be here? You know, I'm not gonna, you know, tear it down or anything else. You know, I understand the importance in the special energy in here. And then like instantly after that, it was like a real comforting, you know, feeling, you know. And then I thought, okay, cool. It's okay to be here. And I've really created some of my most special sculptures in that building, you know, and just it's pretty amazing.
That's really cool. That's
you know, I'm like just kind of getting my head wrapped into winter mode. Like the best thing about winter is the material coming out of these rivers is so awesome. You know, it's like my puzzle pieces. This is my time of year, you know. And so that's really what keeps me going through winter, you know. Is like,
so do you go and just like wade through the rivers, or do you walk along the side, or how do you do it?
Yeah, I'll have a lot of places where like the mouth of the river will open up and kind of spill out into the bay or different areas. So I'll be able to a lot of hiking, and it's pretty fun. It's like crazy energy in the winter. You know, you've been here in a big storms, and so I'm out like treasure hunting, and it's pretty fun.
Awesome.
You know, the mission. It's all my mini missions within a big mission, you know.
Yeah, I like your term mini mission. I might start using that one.
Yeah, mini missions, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
I always remember a story you told me a long time ago, or we were talking about just going on journeys and stuff, and you're like, you don't even really have to leave your house to go on a journey. She's like, I'm saying, yeah, she's like, but you were like, yeah, I go on journeys just washing the dishes sometimes. And every time I'm washing the dishes, I think of that, man. It's so awesome.
It's so true. Like, it's like, it's really funny because Jason, he like read my books and he's like, they're kind of boring. And I'm like, okay. Like,
fuck you,
and
buddy.
He's like, well, you're like just telling stories that like happened. He goes, but like there's something way more interesting. And I'm like, well, what? And he goes, I want to hear what your imagination is thinking.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're totally right. Because like, awesome. That's where awesome. My life gets like so crazy is when like, I think of like just my imagination and like, you're, you know, like I'm washing the dishes and like scuba diving or, you know, like whatever I'm doing, but like, just like the little, it's like, I have this like, you know, a secret life of Walter Mitty kind of idea in my head.
Inside idea. Yeah. I love it. That is cool. So
he's challenged me to write a book with my imagination, and
sounds like a good partner, man. You got to have one that'll challenge you.
Exactly.
And honest, you know, being honest to you, because like,
yep.
Zila often when I'll be working on something for months, you know, and she'll have a viewing for a second, tell me what she thinks. Oh, this is like shit. What's this? What is this? You know, and like. I'm like, I go through this whole cycle of emotions. At first, I'm pissed. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then I start thinking about it. And then I'll usually maybe take 50% of that, add it in with my other 50. And then it will come out and be way more enhanced and just elevated to what it was going to be. Yep. You get so close to what you're doing and you're not really seeing it sometimes. So, but I really value that about her. It's like, it's just a real genuine, honest opinion. Because I mean, if you had somebody that was just telling you what they thought you wanted to hear, you'd never grow, you know, and
totally,
you know, it wouldn't be good.
Yeah. Like you know, it's nice to have affirmation that you're on the right track, but at the same time, creatively, like you want to move forward always, like, you know, expand on that last thing. And one thing that reminded me of that, I had an art teacher one time, because you know how sometimes you don't know when something's done?
Yeah.
Like,
that's the hardest fucking part, man.
It's the hardest part. Like, am I done? Because there's no assignment. It's not like someone says, like, here's what you need to do. It's like, I'm making something out of my goddamn mind. I don't know when it's done, you know, like, so like that creative process. And so there were 3 things. You look at it in a mirror.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
You take a photo of it.
Photos for sure.
And then here's my favorite one. You look at it upside down.
Upside down. I was going to say upside down. Yeah. Totally.
Do you do those things too?
Oh, yeah. Photos for sure all the time, because it's like you pick out different shit, you know, like maybe the lens just picks up different than your eye does. So you're like, whoa, what the fuck? That looks like shit. You know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Yeah. And then the mirror does something else.
Yeah, it's backwards image, you know, like.
It gives like, the mirror for me shows if the composition is right. Like if it's balanced, like if things are balanced.
I could see that.
You know, and then the upside down thing is just like, okay, so if I just looked in a different perspective, you know, like.
Yeah, I have this funny little tree house. It's a nest up in this tree. I don't know if you can see it. It's up in the tree. You can't even see it up there. Anyways, I'll go up there and just view what I'm doing, like a project, just to kind of have this different perspective, you know, and get like elevation, and like it just, I don't know, something about it. It kind of helps a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool guy. I thought about him the other day. He's a good friend of mine. I met him years and years ago. I was doing this show down in California, and this really special woman was Francine was her name, but she was telling me about her friends that we have to meet, and it was like the end of the show. Timber was a little baby at the time, and they lived in Petaluma. It was like another hour from where we were, and it was kind of getting late. So we just like roll up to their door, never met them before, and we're like, oh, Francine told us to come here, you know, and they were so beautiful people, you know, and like they were really welcoming, you know, and just like since that point, we always just been really good friends. And Jamie, he does like he's a director, does a lot of movies and films and music videos and stuff, and like he's been on this kick here for a while where he's like inventing toys, right? And so it's so fun, right? And so I'll get like kind of stoned or whatever, and I'll just come up with these ideas, and then like I'll call him out of the blue, like, Jamie, what about this for a TV show? Or you know, what about this for a toy? It's fuck, he loves it. I'm like, I did it the other day. I haven't talked to him for a year or so, and I just out of the blue, I just called him, you know, and fuck, we had a great talk. It was fun.
That's awesome. I remember that that toy, like, I don't know if you call it a toy, like an interactive sculpture that you made.
Oh,
for
remember
Mind and Wind?
The dendrite briar. Yeah. Remember we were calling it that?
The dendrite briar. That's right.
Yeah. That was freaking rad. You know, I've actually been kind of thinking about doing another version of that and maybe bringing it to this Ohana, something to get people like interactive in that. And it could be fun.
You should totally do that, because
it could be fun.
It lit people up. It was so fun.
And it's cool because it like opens up something to where there's no preconceived way of how anything should go, and there's no wrong way or right way. It's just like working through this organic mess, you know, and it's pretty cool. It does something, you know, like I can't even explain really.
Yeah, no, I'd say bring it back. That was a very cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for pictures. I feel like I have pictures of that.
I know. I was looking for some the other day. I just was talking to somebody about this, and then I donated it to the Children's Museum in Everett here years and years ago. I was doing like a thing there with some kind of open show thing they had going on. It was a lot of fun, but I thought, no, this is where this thing needs to go, man.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
I hope they're still using it.
I know it. How fun, man.
Yeah.
But I think maybe this winter I'll just start finding material for it and do a kind of another version of that for maybe this next year around this time.
Yeah.
And
fun. Maybe you'll make an improvement on it that'll make it even.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I know it. I was thinking of like, if there was a way, like, I hate to think of things like marketing things and ideas, but if there was a way to maybe just make the connectors and then have it as you buy these connectors, and then you could source your own material, and it'll get you out in the nature and spending time with your family doing this. It might be kind of fun.
That's a great.
What I seen one time that was super rad was these people. I think their thing was called Shred, but they made these 3D printers and grinders to where you could go up and put all your plastic water bottles in it, and it grinds it down. And then they were printing surfboard fins and shit, dude. It was so awesome. Fucking rad, dude. I'm like, oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Way cool.
That's super cool. Like, yeah. I mean, I think there's ways to, there's so many ideas.
I know it. You're firing me up. I'm really glad that we got to bullshit, because I was like kind of looking around like, okay, what am I going to put my energy into today? And I kind of have a direction, but this was perfect. I needed that for sure.
Oh, I'm glad. Cool. I'm glad. I love hearing what you're doing. I want to invite you to, I don't know if you can come. I know you have a baby and everything, but November 19th, we're having our album. We're going to take everyone in a journey, like to celebrate us, like finishing this album. But it's a divine thing that we made. Like it happened. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like a vision that I had about a year ago. It was actually almost 1 year ago in October. I had this idea that I was making music, and I don't even really make music. I always like, I don't know. I feel vibrations, but I don't really like make it. Yeah. And so, it went through all these, when you're saying like things kind of take the wrong direction, you don't know why, like all these things happened. And at one point I'm like, oh, maybe I was wrong or, whatever, but I just kind of kept going. And then all these circumstances happened that made it happen. Awesome. And I think it's something special. I think it's healing. I think it's something that like a lot of people kind of need right now. And I think it serves like a higher purpose than anything of us that made it. There's three of us.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think it's more than just us. It's sort of like we channeled it,
Yeah. No, I 100%. That's awesome.
So we're doing this event. We recorded it down in Tulum, down in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So it's Megan, this DJ out of Chicago, Joey, who she has a sound temple in Tulum. She lives in Mexico, but is from Seattle. That's how I know her. Oh, and so it's Megan, Joey, and I, and we recorded it down in Tulum and then brought it back to Seattle, and my friend's studio in Seattle mastered it for us.
Wow.
So we sort of, we call ourselves sound weavers.
That's so rad, dude.
Yeah.
You were pulling the network together for that, man. That's so cool.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't know what will come out of, like, we kind of don't know what it'll end up being. Like, I don't know where it'll go, but we're starting with this event. Like, we finished mastering it, and the guy that was doing the mastering, he's like, so what's next, you guys? And we're like, I don't know. And he goes, we need to have an album drop for you. And so it just kind of started, and the studios, it's a super cool space, but it's not really big. We can't, do like a big event or anything. But we can do a big special event.
Yeah, and that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Oh man, that's so awesome. Oh man, that's like me and my dad were just talking about the other day when we were you were hanging out with one of your friends and with your bullshit, and then all of a sudden you met this guy, Pete. Hey Pete, what's up? Fucking hanging out with Pete, or wasn't it Pete? Yeah, it turned. Yeah. Remember the story? I thought that was so rad, man. Like, what the hell? How random, man. That's so cool.
I know, dude, but he didn't call himself Pete. He called himself Frampton.
Oh, Frampton. Yeah.
So like, I didn't like. I never made the connection or anything, and then someone like one day is like, that's Peter Frampton. And I'm like, what, Frampton? That's just Frampton. I don't know.
Dude,
and then
so
I look him up and he's like a guitar like legend.
Yeah. You're just chilling. Oh, hey, Frampton, what's up?
No, I'm in the back of his van. Like, he's got this cool van. I wanted to see it because he like had turned it into this like it was like an art piece. It was amazing. It was like a Bollywood studio or something, like just like totally crazy. And I'm like kept wanting to look in it, like, can I see it? And he's like, oh yeah, come check it out. I did this and this, and like he's like showing me the whole thing. And like,
how fucking cool, man. I love that story, man.
I had no idea.
That's so rad. Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day. That was so funny. Yeah. I know I met this guy kind of randomly the other day, and I don't know if anything's really random or not, but he was he's in some band or something. He was such a cool guy. We were having such a good time. I wasn't really gonna ask him, but I recognize him. I haven't put my finger on it. His name's Steven. I can't remember his last name, but you could tell he was the front man for something. And he's rad. We text each other and shit every now and again and like keep in touch. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like super fucking cool. Across the board, I always like treat people the same, whether I'm giving you a sleeping bag and you're homeless or I'm in your mansion or whatever. And I think that's what's pretty rad, is like learning that people are really people and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
I've had like seriously so much fun talking to you, and I feel like I almost feel like I'm all energized now. Like
I know it, me too. Yeah. I was just like, cause I'm sitting in my truck now, so I could charge my phone,
Oh shoot. Okay, yeah.
No big deal. But yeah, man, that was so fucking rad to hear from you, and just kind of catch up a little bit, share some stories. But yeah, you just need to get it together, when the time is right or whatever, and go hunt rocks or something. It's always open for you.
It's magic out there, and I love tapping into that and just and your magic. And
it's a cool spot. It's trippy that it's like exists still in Westport. It hasn't been discovered. You know what I mean? It's like
let's keep it quiet.
Yeah, good call.
I think we should keep it quiet because it's so special that I feel like when you go there, you're in like a portal or a vortex or something.
I know it is kind of special. Like even how I got the land was kind of trippy. I was talking with these people where I was going to build them a bunch of stuff for their house. And then they were like, oh, well, we got to go check on this property. We don't know what to do with it. And I'm like, well, I might be into it. I've been kind of looking for another lot. And yeah, come on, check it out. And then it ended up working a trade out on it. And so I just built them, a bunch of stuff for their house. And we just did a swap just straight up for it. And I thought it was kind of meant to be how all that worked out,
Yeah.
Hear from you. Yeah, let me know what you're doing with the recording, and then we'll just get together when we can and keep the juice flowing, Yeah,
I think it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go hammer on something, but I love you, buddy.
And say hi to Zila for me.
Yeah, I will too. Yeah, you say hi to the fam and Jason, everybody, and that'd be fun. I remember last time when we were setting up for your show at the Mind Unwind, and it was like, I got a picture still somewhere, like it was me and Jason on this whole sketchy ass ladder set up. Like,
oh my God.
What the hell are we doing up here?
Oh man, I'm so glad no one got injured on that installation.
that was crazy, I gotta say, but that was fun. That made it kind of special.
It was
the danger aspect. We might die, but this will be awesome.
It was dangerous, but so smart. There was no other way we could have gotten that done that day with the stuff we had. And
oh yeah, it was perfect.
It was perfect. Like, and I feel like we did it slow enough where it was like, okay, we'll see, we'll test. And then, and then all of a sudden you're like 10 feet in the air and Jason's holding the ladder. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Love it, man. How awesome. Yeah. Tell him hi, man. I'd love to see him here sometime.
All right.
I love you, buddy.
I love you too. Thank you so much for chatting and everything.
I'm such a cave kid. I'm glad I figured this thing out. The Zoom thing,
I am too.
It's so fun.
I'm honored, actually.
That's awesome. Yeah. No one be zooming all over the place. Yo, let's Zoom, bro. Yeah. It's so funny.
Watch out, Zoom. If Jeffro gets into Zoom, watch out.
Oh, yeah. I'm fucking zooming it up, man. Oh, man. All right, buddy. Good to hear from you.
All right. See ya.
Nice.
If you like what I'm creating here on my virtual campfire, please subscribe and give me 5-star reviews so that I know these conversations are worthwhile to others. I love doing this, and I hope you love listening. Thank you.